Actually, fun fact, when they did that rotation, I was actually living in Australia at the time.
Oh,
So,
really? Where
fun
were you
fact,
living?
I was living in Melbourne
Oh, that's where I
I lived
am.
there for
Oh, there you
6
go.
months. Yeah.
Awesome. Wow.
I lived there for
What
6 months
what
as a
suburb did
study
you
abroad.
live in?
I lived on Flinders Street. I lived downtown.
Wow. Okay, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Jeez. Did
Yeah.
you go to any card shop? Is there any card shops you want to shout out? Do you
Not
remember?
not when I was I
Fair.
didn't I mainly went to bars when I was there. I didn't go to
Real?
any
No,
card
that's so
shops.
fair. That is so fair. Well, on that note, we talked about it earlier, is there a themed deck you haven't done yet? And it sounds like maybe Luthen could be for the new set, but so far, has there been one you haven't done one yet?
So, Twin Suns, I do a lot of theme decks.
Mm-hmm.
So I find it kind of difficult to do a theme deck in Premiere because a lot of time, so a theme deck that I wanted to run was like a Darth Revan deck, but
Mm-hmm.
I needed both like green and red to do it, so
Okay.
I couldn't
Yep.
really, because I wanted to run HK-47 because
Yep.
obviously like that's his
Yep.
droid. I
Yep.
wanted to run Death Field because it's got his art on
Yep.
it. But I also wanted to run Energy Conversion Lab because I wanted to be able to like bring in Darth Malik
Yep.
and like ambush him in, attack something, and then he gets to ready again, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if Darth Revan was like red villain, I would have made a theme deck 100%
Mm.
like Revan, Malik, all the Sith stuff. That's a deck that I want to build. I just feel like right now I can't.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping a Darth Revan list could come to be because, and we're getting more Legends card this set. They did mention that we will be getting
Okay.
more Legends canon cards. And if
Mm.
they ever give me a Bastila leader, I'm not playing any
Oh,
other leader
insane.
until she
Yeah,
rotates.
that'd be insane. Why do you think Revan, once again, not spoiling it, but why do you think he was only given the dark side aspect in this set?
That's a great question. I'm assuming it's because it was prior to KOTOR,
Yep.
is my thought.
Yeah, but I feel like he still could have a blue or a yellow or red, and it would make sense. Like I'd understand if he was like some insane 5 resources, he comes out 10/10, but he's only a black aspect. I could get it, but based on what I've heard, his leader isn't that great, and you're giving up an aspect. So I was like, I know Anakin is a single aspect, so maybe they'll try to do one on each side. But it's just like I don't get why Revan was nerfed that way, especially because I'll jump ahead a bit of a question. One set I would love to see is an Old Republic set. I know that's probably down the pipeline, but obviously maybe you get later like Malik and Revan. And I feel like Revan should have been, because they could have tested out an Old Republic set through Legends of the Force and say, people like Revan as a leader, people like playing Malik. There's the card out with Bastila, there's a few with her on it. We maybe should make a set around Old Republic. And why do you think they only gave Revan one aspect beyond just like Anakin has one, they need to have one on each side?
I feel like it was the other way, right? I feel like Darth Revan they were like, we have Darth Revan as a villain, we need
Okay,
somebody
yeah.
with a light side aspect, right? But
Mhm.
I don't know. So when Darth Revan was spoiled, I went to my locals. I think he was spoiled on a Tuesday, and my local night is Tuesday. Walk up, and I go, Gavin, who's my judge. I said, dude, Darth Revan is trash, man. He's so bad. We've been arguing over text all day because I was like, Darth Revan, and I go, Darth Revan should have been a 4/7 at minimum because you give up an aspect. He goes,
Yeah.
you don't understand, man. His leader power is just so good. I go, I understand, but you're using half the cards every other deck can use.
Yes.
And if you're using half the cards, you need to have an extremely good payoff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you said, like, if he flipped as a 10/10 or something massive like that,
Yeah.
I don't think he would be that broken because a lot of people, like, there are ways, like, you can power the dark side him, you can exhaust him. There's a lot of things you can do. He'd be a lot stronger, but I don't think people understand that having only half the cards available to you that other decks have is a huge handicap.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
truly don't know, unless they didn't want Darth Revan to be that insane. But
Yeah.
I think they should have been because you see, like we said, he's the most expensive showcase, I think, in the last 2 sets. And if he was actually like the top dog in the meta right now,
Yeah.
that showcase would be like in like crazy levels of value. And I think it would drive the prices of like Carbonite boxes up, and people
Definitely.
would be wanting to actually open packs to try and get a Revan showcase.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on to the game again. Do you have an unofficial or house rule that you like to play if you're playing casually? You do with your friends that maybe you'd like to see implemented, or should other people know about?
So we do a so basically like right now when I go to my locals after all my so I'm not doing any more Premier PQs this set.
Yep.
Uh, so I'll probably be playing Twin Sons, and Twin Sons. The rule is I'm not sure if you know is like if you have two leaders, they have to have the same villain or hero aspect.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yep.
we have we have a kind of a rule where it's like you can just play whatever you want sometimes.
Yep.
Like if
Okay.
you want to play two leaders together, just play them
Yep.
together. Like
Yep.
we have a buddy who is I think he's playing so he was playing Revan and I forget the other card, but he was playing like Revan something. It was like a hero card.
Mm-hmm.
And it was I think it was like Revan Churret, but we let him play all the judge cards without an aspect penalty because he's our judge and he gets
Okay.
all
Yep.
the judge cards, right?
Yep. That's fair.
So
Yep.
any card that had judge on it, he could play without an aspect penalty.
Jeez,
And
yeah.
like the deck wasn't good. He won
Yeah.
a game, but like it wasn't like broken and it was fun,
Mhm.
right? Like it was thematic and I think a lot of people need to understand, some stuff like that is fun. Like if you would want to run, a villain a hero Anakin and like a villain Emperor Palpatine, as
Mhm.
long as everybody's okay with it, it's fun. It's fine.
Yeah.
So that's what we do.
Mhm.
We,
Yeah.
we will let our judge play with his
That
judge
is fun,
deck.
I suppose. Because I've always been interested, like, I wonder how much pressure judges are under, because I assume they have to make the right calls and they have to know all the rules. But they get pretty cool cards. I really like they have, from what I can tell, it's the World Between Worlds, like, card art. That one's really cool. And I remember you saying, I know sidetracking again in other videos, why isn't that in the packs? Like, that really cool art should be in the packs as alternate art styles. Could be another great way. And the World Between Worlds one looked fantastic. And I'm a little bit annoyed that because I got into the game later and not into competitive scene, you're gate kept from getting those cards. But obviously, I have to understand has to be a reward for playing these competitive games. And it's cool to have like a play mat and all that. So yeah, but that is a cool rule. Just letting your judge be like, hey, you can take it easy, just play whatever you want. We
Yeah.
won't care. Yeah.
And he like begged us at first. He was like, "Can I please play it?" And I'm like, "Okay, Gab, go ahead, buddy." Um,
We were
yeah,
talking
go
about this a bit earlier. So, is there a character leading set or a setting you want to see in a future expansion? I think you've already got your Luthen fix. You've got the unit from Legends of the Force. You've got your leader now. Are there any other characters or leaders, or like I was saying earlier, Old Republic, just an entire setting or module that you'd want to see?
yeah, I'm right there with you on the Old Republic set, and
Mhm.
like I said, if you give me a Bastille leader, I will be maining her until
Yeah.
she rotates. I don't care if she's good or bad.
Yeah.
I will buy the showcase instantly. Basile's just
Yeah.
one of my favorite characters. But there's so much in KOTOR, right? There's so many good characters.
Yes. Yeah.
Like you could do a whole set around a KOTOR expansion,
Mm.
and I think you would get a whole other aspect of people in the game because I feel like Knights of the Old Republic fans are like clamoring for anything Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you give them any, like you will get these people coming in just
Yeah.
buying cards because they just want Knights of the Old Republic stuff.
Yeah. I think even if you called it like the Old Republic and you had the MMO RPG with like Darth Malgus, you made it Knights of the Old Republic and the Old Republic, because the argument might be there aren't enough characters in KOTOR to support the game maybe, but I'd like to see a Joe Lee Bindo leader or unit. I always loved him, so I think he would be like a really fun card. And it is fun just like when you're talking with your friends saying, oh, what aspects would this character have? What abilities? What would their stats be? I think that's just like a fun theory crafting, like when it's not even announced or rumored to be a set. That would be really fun. And having Darth Malak as a leader that you maybe have to defeat units to become more powerful or something. And I think Bastila would be a cool one. Once again, not to spoil it, but if she had similar to like Anakin in Legends of the Force, where
Mhm.
multiple aspects, I think that'd be really interesting. I was thinking of an idea the other day. I don't know how this probably wouldn't work meta-wise. It'd just be more fun. But a leader who doesn't deploy, it's kind of like the Harch from Clone Wars, that you just flip them to the other side, but they have different aspects on each side. Like it might be villainy on both sides, but one side's red, the other side's green. and you flip the leader, and maybe it costs a resource to flip the leader, and you can still have your base, but having like what would that be, 4 aspect leader, but they have no ability, no deploy. Do you think that's something that they could? Because obviously over time they need to create new things to push the boundaries of the game. Is that something they could explore maybe?
So, have you seen the Twilight of the Republic Chancellor Palpatine?
Yeah. Oh, yes, I have. Yep. How is that
So,
kind of gone? Like, did people play it at the time or?
yeah, it actually wins every now and then. Like it
Mm,
actually win because the problem with it takes a bigger brain than me to figure it out.
yeah.
And uh but it wins every now and then. But I think it would really be interesting to have like a 3-color deck in villain that like or
Mm,
just villain or just hero. Where like you can play these cards and then you can flip it to get like a third color, but only for that time.
mm.
I think that could work, and it could lead to a lot of really interesting deck ideas. Because there are times where I'm like, man, if I just had the blue aspect for
Yeah.
this one turn, this deck would be cracked. Like I just need it for this one turn, and we'd be
Yeah.
cracked.
Yeah.
No, I think they're doing really interesting things with leaders, and I think starting this set, they said that we are going to get a leader that
Hmm.
does not have a hero or villain aspect.
Okay, that'll be really interesting to see. Because I was trying to like go through that myself. I was like, is there any that don't? And yeah, so that'd be very interesting to see what that'll look like.
And I think I have a feeling it's going to be because they didn't say it was going to be a single aspect. They said it was going to be no villain or hero. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to get
Mm.
2 leaders and they're going to split the other 2 aspects. So you'll probably get like a command
Mhm.
cunning and an aggression vigilance leader with
Interesting.
no other aspect.
Yeah. And then, do you think this would kind of undo it all? But would there be a base that would be hero or villainy eventually?
I think there could be. I think
Yeah.
because then you could do like you could do red villain hero, and there's some really
That'd be insane. Yeah.
there are some really dirty combos you can do if you get one aspect, but you get both sides of that aspect. There's some really
Interesting.
interesting things.
Yeah. I think I'm interesting a leader without a hero or villainy because I don't think there aren't any that have like just one aspect. Then they don't have
Besides
hero.
Revan, besides Revan and Anakin,
Revan, but
right?
it's
There's
just like
yeah,
not a hero or villainy, just like
yeah,
another aspect. So I think that'd be interesting because that's another thing I try to think about with this game is for the people who have been since Spark of Rebellion, how do you keep the game fresh and exciting beyond here's another piece of cardboard, new art and new numbers, new mechanics that keep it interesting, but I don't know how they could do this, but when they're making the Secrets of Power set, how do they make that work with the Shadows of the Galaxy and Spark of Rebellion? And I understand they do like phase out cards, which I I get why. I just don't like that as a new player, knowing that even I might not be playing, but at a point in time, Legends of the Force, I won't be able to play that deck anymore. And yeah, and my deck, I managed to pull, because one of my friends, he got me when I first got into it, one of every booster pack. And it had, you're going to have to help me here, is the Spark of Rebellion. You give a unit +2/+2 for the phase, and then you divide its damage
Oh,
amongst.
Overwhelming Barrage.
Overwhelming Barrage. I've got one of that. You can imagine when Snoke has 4 experience tokens, you play Overwhelming Barrage. He just is a board wipe at that point. And knowing eventually, I know I don't like receiving that card, but I love playing it. But knowing in time that that ability will be gone, and Power of the Dark Side, is that a Spark of Rebellion?
It is
It's just,
yep.
yeah, it's hard trying to like future proof your deck when you know all of it will eventually phase out. And I do understand, because in 5 years' time, there will be thousands of cards in the game. And obviously, a new player shouldn't be expected to learn. So that's an issue Magic has, is that there are like, apparently there's like 30 new cards every day on average. So for a new player, it's hard to adjust to that. But at the same time, if I want to, like if I'm just starting now and I see a really cool, like, do I buy 2 more Overwhelming Barrage cards knowing they will go out of meta or just out of play in a few months? Obviously I can play with my friends, but if I want to do other stuff, like, what is your take on cards being phased out for new players?
So it is a double-edged sword, and I'm trying to figure out the right way to approach it to people, because I'm in a really weird, or weird's the wrong word, unique position where I am competitive, but also am trying to be an entryway for new players such as yourself, and in casual players, right? Players that are in the game but aren't like, they don't look at everything every day. They don't look at meta reports, look at all that.
Yeah.
And there's a couple things that I can do that will, I believe, make people feel better about what's called the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Thing one is like if you look at Yu-Gi-Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't have a rotation, so every card ever printed
Yeah.
is legal,
Yeah.
and there gets now they do have a ban list, but then if you look at the ban list is hundreds of cards long,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then you get to the point where you're like, okay, well, I want to play X deck, and
Mm-hmm.
X deck is $5,000 because half the cards are from 20 years ago
Yeah.
that are out of print, and I can
Yeah.
only get them on TCG Player, and everybody knows I need them.
Yeah.
So I think with rotation, it makes the game it makes the current game cheaper because
Okay.
all the cards are within print, right? They're within the last
Mm-hmm.
2 years. But the flip side is exactly what you said. Imagine you're a player coming in at Legends of the Force, and you're like, well, I really want to build a deck, but Luke Skywalker from Spark of Rebellion is $20. If I buy 3 of them, I only get him for 4 months.
Mm.
That's not a great, like, that's why I'm actually telling people, if you want to get into the game right now, if you're a new player getting into the game right now today, as of September 17th Australian time,
Yeah.
um, uh, I would recommend Vader from Jump to Lightspeed because it's a leader that's
Yeah.
going to be around for a year and 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
It's most of its cards are going to be relevant for a year and 4 months. It doesn't have that
Yep.
many cards outside of it.
Yep.
And it's cheap. It's $50. So like that is a great entry point deck. As long as we have decks like that in the game, I feel
Okay.
like rotation's going to be healthy because if you're getting in and you come to me and you go, "What should I do?" I would say like buy these singles, $50, maybe $60 with shipping, and you'll be good for literally 4 or 5 months to
Okay.
see if you like the game. If you
Yeah.
like the game, well, by the time you're ready to get a new deck, maybe rotation is happening, so you can not have like you can save some money.
Okay.
The
Interesting.
other thing I will tell you is Twin Suns, which I do play a lot of.
Mhm.
It has you can use any card ever. There will
Okay.
never be a rotation for Twin Suns.
Yep.
And uh come the 24th or maybe the 25th for you of this month, they're going to do another trilogy stream. So I don't know if you are aware of what trilogy is, but
Mhm.
trilogy is a really cool format, and there's a YouTuber who's just starting named, I think his name is Constellation of Power. I know him by Empires.
Mm.
I'll give him you the link because I want
Please.
if you want to link it in the channel. But
Definitely.
there's a internal format that's going to be around. So
Mm.
FFG will be supporting a format that will have no rotation. You can use every
Interesting.
card ever printed. And I believe what's going to happen is they're going to make that the trilogy format, which is essentially you show up to your opponent, you pull out 3 decks with no sideboard. You just put 3 decks on the table.
Okay.
Your opponent puts 3 decks on the table. You each ban one of your opponent's decks, and you have to win a game with the other 2.
Interesting.
So-
Interesting. Mm.
So it's going to give the Eternal format, I think, a lot of legs because you're not just bringing 1 deck, you're bringing 3, but you have every single card ever printed
Yep.
available,
Okay.
except if they ban some cards because they're too strong.
Yep.
So for people that are scared of rotation, I would say one, in the long run, I know it sucks right now, but in the long run, the game will be cheaper overall,
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah.
And there are 2 other formats, both of which are actually extremely fun. I've played both.
Mm-hmm.
That where you can use all your cards.
Mm.
So there is like your cards just aren't trash, and it will make the game cheaper overall. But I do think
Yeah.
for a lot of my casual friends, like, and I'm telling them, yeah, in 4 months or 8 months, you're not going to be able to play with your Lukes anymore, and they're like,
Yeah.
well, that kind of I'm not a big fan.
Mm. Yeah. Because one of my friends, she's gone into it at the same time I have, and last week she just like bought a set 1 layer deck pretty much. And the only thing is like it is a really cool deck. Blue Lead is a great card, but then that'll eventually go out, and it's just like you're having to buy another deck. Even if someone gives you the deck for free, like obviously it's very kind of them, but just knowing that like it's time limited. But like you said, if you buy a deck and you know it's going to be around for a year, by the time that year comes around, you've probably already built another deck or 10 in that time. Like you're probably still not on your first deck. So I think that probably is a better way to approach it. And I suppose having those other formats that are more optional, like, the casual player isn't playing the trilogy format. But if you've built 3 decks, you probably know every card in the game. You're probably not a new player. So
Right.
I think it's a good balance between the two then.
Yeah, I will say though, it does feel bad. Like if anybody tells me that they don't like the rotation, I'm gonna be like, listen, I understand, because I
Mm.
remember just coming from a Hearthstone player. So I started Hearthstone this the first expansion, which was adventure,
Yeah.
but it was
Yeah.
like 30 cards, and so I was playing for, I think it might have been 2 or 3 years by that point. And
Mm.
then they said, hey, come next year, we're going to do yearly rotations where they do it exactly like we do it in SWU, where they next set comes out, they rotate 3 whole sets out.
Oh,
And
okay.
you, I initially was like, man, I just think this is gonna suck because I spent all this money getting all these cards, and I'm so
Mm.
used to playing all these cards, like I'm gonna hate it. And actually, it's the opposite. So for me, I was going into it like I'm gonna try it, but I'm gonna hate it. And
Mm.
actually, fun fact: when they did that rotation, I was actually living in Australia at the time.
Oh, oh,
So
really? Where
fun
were you
fact:
living?
I was living in Melbourne
Oh, that's where
for
I
I lived
am.
there for
Oh, there you
six
go.
months. Yeah,
Awesome. Wow.
I lived there for
What
6 months
what
as a
suburb did
study
you
abroad.
live in?
I lived on Flinders Street. I lived downtown.
Wow. Okay, that's
Yeah,
amazing. Jeez. Did
yeah.
you go to any is there any card shops you want to shout out? Do you
Not
remember?
not when I was. I
Fair.
didn't. I was. I went. I mainly went to bars when I was there. I didn't go to
Real?
any
No,
card
that's so
shops.
fair. That is so fair. What else are you meant to do when you're
um.
studying in Australia? Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome to
That's
know. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't go to class pretty much. I passed all my classes, but I didn't go to class, and I
Oh, well.
drank all day with a
Cultural
bunch of
immersion, let's
Australians.
call it.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great. But they did a rotation, and I was like, okay, I'll play it. So I logged on, I was playing it. I'm like, you know what? I kind of like it. All those old cards are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like the game, I'll put it this way: if you don't like the game right now, and you're like, man, the game seems fun, but I'm not having fun because there's too many cards, all the decks are too
Mm-hmm.
strong. Come rotation, the game is going to be unrecognizable
Okay.
to
Okay.
a player, and
Mm.
it's going to feel so refreshing
Mm.
playing. Because I've already been through it once. I kind of know what to expect, but I will tell you, if you're watching this and you're scared of rotation, give it a chance with like an open mind, and I'm telling you, you will feel so refreshed because you're like, man, Overwing Barrage isn't here. It's gonna be a great. I can't get
Yeah.
OB'd right now. It's gonna feel amazing.
Yeah. That's fair. So on that, talking about speaking to new players directly, what is something you wish new players knew earlier? Obviously, you have your videos that are the top 10 tips and all that. But is there one thing when someone's just getting into it you wish they knew earlier, whether it's about mechanics or just about trading card games in general? What's one thing you wish they knew?
Uh, the thing I wish people would knew is don't be intimidated to go to your card shop and play
Yeah.
with other people.
Fair.
Because even me starting out, right, I played all my games were online card games, and I was actually intimidated to go to my local game store because I'm like,
Mm.
I don't know what to like. Do I just show up? Do I sit? Like, what do I do? Um, and I literally just one day I looked at my coworker and I said, hey John, do you want to go to the card store with me? Because I'm a little nervous. I've never went and
Mm.
played at a card shop before. And he's like, yeah, I'll go with you. We showed up and we paid the entry fee. We sat down and I just started talking to my opponents, and
Yeah.
they were surprisingly extremely nice. Like,
Yeah.
who would have thought that people playing sharing a hobby could be cool? And then you go back the next week and people are like, oh hey Mo, how are you doing? And it's
Mm.
like, it's not an intimidating like it's not as intimidating as it feels on the surface. And
Yeah.
just going to a card shop and talking to people and playing,
Mm.
it will get like, it's a whole different experience, and it feels a lot different than like playing online or anything like that.
Yeah.
So my biggest thing that I wish new players would know is going to a local game store is not scary, it's not intimidating, and it's actually
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
I know that might
definitely
not be
know.
the answer you were looking for, but
No, that's great. No, it wasn't the answer I was looking for, but that's why it was great, because that's why I have guests on, because if I say the answers I want to hear, that's boring for me. But I think that's a
true.
great thing, because last week it was a constructed deck. It was my first time ever paying to do a competition thing. And there were two people, it was their first time ever playing, and someone else just gave them decks to play with. And I played against them, and I tried to make sure I was socializing over playing the game. Because I knew, for me, I'd been playing for a few weeks, so I knew how the game worked. I was more there to help guide them as much as I could, being a new player. but also just to talk to them, be like, oh, so what Star Wars characters do you like? And be like, oh, that character I think has a card here, or they're a leader. And I think it is, I don't know if it's like Star Wars fans discover socializing. Wow, who would have thought? That might be a skill for trading card game players that like Star Wars Unlimited, who knows? But I think it is important because I have found I was expecting people to be very standoffish or I'm not going to teach you the game, but people have afforded that to me. And I want, I'm not just doing it because people did it to me. I want to do that for people, but I want to pass that on as well. Just like being kind to someone and being like them. I know we're playing against each other right now, but you can show me your cards and I'm not going to be like, okay, they've got these 5 cards. I'm going to do this, this, and this. I'm just going to say, this card is probably the best play here and I'll explain why. And look, because it was my first time running my own built deck, I still wrecked them with my Snoke coming and swiping the 4. But I tried to make sure it was focusing on the social aspect of, once again, you want people to join this community. And that's what happened that night. I think there was one table was the new players and one table was the experienced players. And it was great having the new players on a table together because I played against one experienced player and I learnt a lot. I wouldn't say I had fun per se, but I was definitely learning a lot about the game. But if that was my first time ever playing the game and I played against 3 people who had the Han Blue deck or whatever, like, Talzin ECL or whatever it is, I would be like, this is a bit overwhelming. This person's just wrecking me. I can barely get a card down and play. And so that's why I found it was good having new players play together. And then you can have the experienced players, obviously, because their games go a lot faster. They can come over. And then I was asking, is a shield an upgrade or not? Like those kind of questions, we're trying to figure it out. And I found the first time I played against an experienced player, I had 2 cards in hand. And I was like to him, which one of these 2 should I play right now? And yeah, he wasn't like, okay, I'm going to tell him the bad card. It was like, oh, this one's good because you can protect your base a bit longer. And like you were saying, I think the big thing is people, like it was scary my first time going. Thankfully, I had a friend who was already there quite a bit. So she introduced me to a lot of the people. And then I came with another friend her and I were new to the game. So it was nice having a few people, but I would have been really scared if I didn't know anyone. Like I just saw on Facebook, this shop's having a Star Wars night, come along and have fun. I probably wouldn't go. And I think, the lesson is for anything in life, not just Star Wars Unlimited, but it is just, take the risk and try something new because I've already made some really great friends and I'm sure I'm going to make a lot of other great friends once I get into the game a bit more. But I 100% agree with you, just taking that leap of faith and that risk of, surprise, surprise, people are actually quite nice. Despite what you might think on the internet, people are very kind and people love socializing. So, and I haven't played online because one of my friends, she said, because I said to her, oh, do you want to start playing Unlimited Online? She said she doesn't like playing online because she finds when she gets into a new TCG, she'll play a lot of it online and kind of get burnt out. And then when you play in person, she's like, I'm kind of sick of the game. So obviously you're very passionate about this game. Do you find, because I heard some people saying after the PQ, they didn't play for a week because they get burnt out. And I was like, how do you get burnt out of this game? And on my first constructed night after playing for like 3 hours, I was like, oh, okay, I need a break from this game. When you do your planetary qualifiers, when you're making content, when you're looking at leaks, when you're doing the crunching the numbers, looking at the meta boards, how do you avoid burnout and still enjoy playing the game at the end of the day?
So I would say for me, sometimes, and it's also like shooting videos for me is also extremely taxing because I come home from work and then it's like scripting, writing, all of that stuff. Yeah. I kind of like it's kind of hard at times, but what I've tried to do is actually just switch my decks up. I know a lot of people will play like one deck. So I've actually started like I'll do like 2 weeks on a deck and 2 weeks on another deck, and it feels refreshing to play. And the other thing I do is like I'll just interact. Like if I don't want to play the game, because after Galactics, I was also burnout. I played a lot, and I was like, man, I just don't want to do it anymore. I'm over it a little bit. You play so much going into the week of Galactics that like you're just like, man, this is ridiculous. And I know a lot of the I don't want to like like the players, they would go. One guy said, I'm not going to play for a month after Galactics because I played 6 hours every day for the past 3 months.
Yeah. Okay.
So what I do is I'll just, if I wanted to play a deck, I'll play 10 games over the course of like 3 days online. And I'll just look at news. I'll hang out in my Discord and I'll see other people playing. And like, if you want to stay into the game, but not play the game, and this isn't like a plug or anything, but like just hanging out in a community
Yeah.
And like there'll be times where I'll see people in a Discord call playing and like streaming their own games
Oh, yeah.
on, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, I'll hop in and just talk with
Just kick
people
it.
and watch them
Yeah.
play. Yeah,
Awesome.
and it's because you're in the game, but you're not in the game. You're like hanging out with
Mm.
people, but not playing, not like trying, not thinking. And there's something to be said about playing competitively and not trying extremely hard at the game. Like
Yeah.
I know a guy who goes to all of my PQs with me, and he only plays at the PQs. And
Interesting.
he top
Yeah.
eights. He top forward the last PQ he was
Yeah.
in.
Wow.
He
Okay,
only and he goes, and we were driving home, and he was like, we were kind of like, wow, Ian, you're kind of like good at this. He's like, yeah, some people just try way too hard. Sometimes you just gotta rip it, man. You just gotta bring a good deck and rip it. That's all
Yeah.
you gotta do.
Yeah. Mm.
So
Right.
I would say just don't eat, breathe, and sleep the game. Just
Yeah.
casually enjoy it. I think what your
Yeah.
friend, what she said is immense, like is actually really wise. You don't have to play online every single day. Like you
Mm.
can play in person and it be fine.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I'm trying to keep it once per week in person for like 2 hours, so that I'm actually still looking forward to playing with friends. So I'm like, okay, I've got to play it again now in person. It's like, no, I'm looking forward to, because for me it's also a lot of socializing, like just getting to catch up with friends. And we play to win, but it's not like when you win, you're like, I'm so much better than you at life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've tried to keep it where I look forward to it, and I really like the community and social aspect of it. So yeah, so on that note about community, our final bit we'll talk about today. So what role do you think Star Wars Unlimited plays in the broader Star Wars fan community, and what does it do differently than those aspects? So we talked about video games, music, once again, cosplay, all these things. What do you think Star Wars Unlimited brings to the Star Wars community, and is that different to any other aspect that you've noticed?
Um so kind of
Mm.
I'm sure you kind of said this, I think maybe a little bit, but there's always that like meme where it's nobody hates Star Wars like Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I would say Star Wars Unlimited is the exact opposite for me. Is
Yes. Yeah.
there are characters in this game that people love and play that are like kind of like, for me, Third Sister is not the most widely loved, beloved character in
Mhm.
the Star Wars universe.
Mhm.
But I think she's good, and I'm like, man, I want to build a Third Sister deck because I think Third Sister is cool. But then it makes me like the character more,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, you know what? Maybe we treated her too harshly in the Kenobi show, right?
Potentially. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I would say one thing that SWU does better than other Star Wars communities is actually the positivity and like community aspect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I feel like Star Wars has like the Star Wars community has like formed camps. It's like, okay, I'm the Acolyte fandom, and
yes.
I'm not gonna let you in unless you love Acolyte,
Yes.
or I'm the Andor fandom. You're not allowed in if you don't think Andor is the greatest show ever.
Yeah.
You're not allowed in. You hate Star Wars. No, you hate. SWU has been like, oh, you like the Clone Wars era? Oh, you like, I've had people tell me their favorite movie is Attack of the Clones, and you're not like, oh, you're not a real Star Wars fan. You're like, oh, you know what? Here's a cool clone deck that you could
True.
be playing.
Yeah,
That's like
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
interesting.
Mm.
So I feel like the community aspect of SWU is like the best it has been for Star Wars in a long time. Because it feels like Star Wars fans hate other Star Wars fans the most, except for
100%.
SWU fans.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. Because I remember at Celebration, I think Ahmed Best, I was at one of his panels, who played Jar Jar and Kelleran Beck.
Mhm.
And he said something great about Celebration is everyone forgets I'm a prequels fan, I'm an originals fan, I'm a Mandalorian fan. We're actually all just Okay, if you flew to Japan for a Star Wars event, you're clearly a nerd and you love Star Wars. So we're not different areas of Star Wars fans. We're just Star Wars fans. And that's why this channel I'm trying to do is to bring that energy of we all love a different aspect. So you love the Star Wars Unlimited aspect. I love the music. One of my friends, she loves the art aspect. And it's trying to figure out what do we all have in common there, and how do we all love and appreciate the exact same IP, but in so many different ways. And I don't know if there's many other IPs. My friend that I talk about a lot, she said what's great about being a Star Wars fan is you get merch for anything. If you're a fan of like a niche IP, you might get one thing, but Star Wars has video games, trading card games, has like pop vinyls, art, there's food, like apparel. That's something that's so great about Star Wars is you get to do everything with it. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. It really is the positivity and maybe I find Star Wars online is different to Star Wars in person. So maybe online people might be a bit more willing to maybe say some more hot take controversial things and not in the nicest way. But in person, people might either tone it down a bit or you can actually have a dialogue with them about, they might be like, I liked episode 9, for example. Not that I'm picking that one for any reason. And we can actually have that conversation because my girlfriend, she got into Star Wars through Mandalorian, and her opinion is she likes the sequels more than the originals because the sequels are made for a modern audience. And that's what I really appreciate is everyone brings this different perspective. And if someone loves Star Wars, who am I to say you're wrong for that? Like, why would I want to push someone away? So I think you're right. It is the positivity is probably something I've noticed definitely in the Star Wars Unlimited community. And I hope it isn't just luck of all the people I've run into. But yeah, everyone's been great so far.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that because like so when I was a kid, and I was kind of dating myself here, is like um Revenge of the Sith was like I call it my Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because that was the movie that was the first movie that I was old enough to go to the theater to watch. And then I loved Attack of the Clones. I still love Attack of the Clones. I just have to fast forward through the Naboo scenes.
Yeah.
But like I was telling my fiance, I'm like, I love Attack of the Clones, and she loves The Phantom Menace. And I like both of us are like, your movie is the worst movie. And then she was like, one day she was like, okay, we're gonna watch them. And I was like, okay, you might be right. Phantom Menace might be better than Attack of the Clones, but still, like, you know, it's there's a lot of like, just if you're in person and you just do it coming from like a good faith, like, no, your movie sucks, but let's watch it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like a lot of Star Wars fans now, and I don't know why, they forget that, like, I'm not a particularly big sequel fan, but I love a lot. Like, Kylo Ren is one of my favorite characters of all time.
Yeah.
I loved the First Orders, like all of the like the new ATS or the new AT-ATs, the new landing shuttle, like the new ships. I liked the Republic stuff. The thing is, like, I wish we got to see more Star Wars outside of like galactic fighting. Like, give me more world building, and I think that's why I liked Andor a lot. Is like, you feel like you're actually living in the world a little bit more than like not everything is a galactic level threat.
Yeah.
I wish we got more of that, and I think Star Wars is one of those things. It's for everyone. Like we need to remember that it's for everyone. Like, I'm not a big Acolyte fan, but Kamir is one of my favorite characters of all time. I love Kamir. I love Soul. I like. So one of my favorite. This goes back to kind of like what is Swoo's play. I don't watch the High Republic stuff. The only High Republic stuff I know is Acolyte.
Yeah.
And I saw the Avar Chris leader, and I was like, this leader seems amazing.
Yes.
And so I built her. I took her to tournaments, and I'm like one of the Avar Chris guys.
Yeah.
If Avar Chris ever has a movie, comic, or anything, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna read it. Like I now love that character.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think Swoo is a really good entry point for a lot of people that like Star Wars, but may not like a lot of the most recent media. And you could be like, wow, this card's cool. I think I'm going to like this character now, and I'm going to enjoy the media more about it.
I think like jump
like
to
the
light.
Ray. Yeah. Go ahead.
I think the jump to Lightspeed deck, there's the one lead, I think he's a green-black, and he's like a first order troop with the red armor. And I think that's from Star Wars. Von Reg. I think that's from Star Wars Resistance. Like the show, I don't know anyone that's watched that show, right? But the fact that they put that leader in, but you see decks built around that leader, and people are like, oh, Von Reg's actually kind of a cool guy. And I think, like you were saying, it gives those niche characters a bit more weight. And then it means, you know, people who are Star Wars Resistance fans, but they hate the movies for whatever reason, they feel like they can engage with this game as well.
Yeah, and that's like one of the coolest things that I have found is people. I remember when Jump to Lightspeed came out, Admiral Holdo, I pulled two of her showcases, and I met a guy who's like, my wife loves her. Can I trade you for her?
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, yeah, man, I'll trade. And he went and got it signed by the actress because they were going to like a Comic-Con that she was at. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's cool. Right. Because everybody, like you said, everybody likes something about Star Wars, and having a character leader, somebody there, like, even not to like get too crazy with it, but we have Rose Tico, right? Who's like an Asian American character.
Yep.
a lot of Asian Americans like Rose Tico and can
Mm-hmm.
like see themselves in her. So now she has a playing card, and you can play a Rose Tico deck, and
Mm.
she's actually kind of good, right?
Yep.
There's so many things out there. Like I have a couple of African American guys that come to my store who love Finn. Like he's like
Yep.
Finn's my guy,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he wanted to build a Finn deck, and he was trying to build a Finn deck,
Mm.
and like there's so many people that love certain characters and they have their certain character that they can play.
Yeah.
And I think that's just really cool to like
Mm.
get that identity.
Yeah. One last thing I just quickly remembered
Mhm.
to ask, because I remember I really liked your podcast with I Open TCGs. Like it was a 2 hour great video just yapping off
Yeah.
about the collecting side, because that's something I knew collecting was a thing. I mean, Star Wars collecting is a thing, and TCGs, that's a thing. But to really hear the deep dive about Carbonite packs specifically, because so far I've bought 5, I think. So, which my mom got me all of them. I was very generous of her. But it is, when I first opened it, I was like, oh, wow, prestige card. This is awesome. But then after a while, you're like, oh, okay, prestige card. And then some of them are like a couple of dollars. And when there are these prestige cards, it's hard because, for example, I think Keller and Beck, he was only like $5 or $7 prestige, I think, when I checked. And part of it's like, I shouldn't let the market price of a card value how much, like if I like the Keller and Beck card and I like the art for the prestige, why should I let that influence me? But I think that podcast you said was right, that it's hard because if you're paying a lot of money for these Carbonite packs, you do want to get something out of it more often than not. But if you're giving everyone a prestige card, and especially, I'm not a fan of like the blank background ones, like the purple and the gold one. It feels pretty lazy, I'll be honest. Like I love the ones where the characters, you put 3 of them together and you get a mini piece of art. I think that's a fantastic way of approaching it. But I do think, I don't know how they resolve it, that you make people feel like they're always getting value out of these packs. But when you actually pull something cool, you feel like it's like, you don't have to go, okay, but is this only worth $2 or is this worth $50 or $70? And is there really a solution? Like I know you said the showcase plus, but then that becomes like, that'll become like normal. Then they'll have to do showcase triple plus and then quadruple plus. Like, is there a long-term solution to, because something in that video, which I never really considered, was whales do keep the game alive, unfortunately or fortunately. So you need to keep them engaged. But obviously the game's meant to be played, not collected. So is there a way to balance that, or is that just a thing? It's always going to go one way or the other?
So there definitely is a way to balance it, and I have a few ideas, and I'll throw out. I think there are a couple more that I haven't talked about in like any other video, so I'll give them to you.
Ooh, exclusive.
One of the things that I said that I think is something that could be done very well is we don't have any Carbonite packs for sets 1, 2, and 3,
Yes.
but I do think some cards should be reprinted from those. Like I think the Spark of Rebellion loot should be reprinted because I think it's a healthy card for the game. It's not overpowered, but it is strong. It gives a great identity for that color combination.
Yeah.
So what they could do in Carbonite packs exclusively. So let's say for set 7 Carbonite packs only, they print a prestige version of that card.
Okay,
But
I get you.
by printing that card in the new set, it would make set 1 Luke legal again for the next 2 years.
Okay.
So if I already have the Spark of Rebellion Lukes from the original set that are the normal arts, I can now play them again.
Yeah.
But also there are these more expensive versions and Carbonite packs that people can open and play
I get
that
you.
they can't get out of normal packs, right?
Yep.
So like that card will be insanely like expensive, but also there are cheaper options on the market that you can play with. So it keeps, I think it would satisfy both levels of like collectors and consumers. And I think the other thing is you need to have more, like they need to do something with the common and rare bases, because common and rare bases can be protected, right? They can be put in a case. They're in front of the field. They're never shuffled into a deck or anything.
Yep.
You could do crazy good art for both of those and put those in Carbonite packs. Because I mean, like Data Vault, I think a Hyperfoil Data Vault last time I checked was like $30 or $40.
Wow.
If you get if you're in a Carbonite, if you're opening a Carbonite pack and you get a Hyperfoil base, that is one of the most expensive cards you can actually get. It's actually kind of crazy. So I think doing something with bases and tokens and like reprints could make Carbonite packs feel better to open. And I think art, like having the new I don't know if you saw like the regional sector art that they're doing, but it's like a different border and like some of it has alternate art.
Mm.
I think if they do that kind of style going forward in Prestiges, I think they would. The art just needs to be better, in my
Oh yeah,
opinion.
I'm looking at it now. I think for the Grand Inquisitor, it has like the red border, and he's
Yeah,
inside the. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree.
yeah.
Mm.
So I think some of the art can be upgraded,
Yep.
and I do think if they reprint some cards, like you reprint some classic cards
Mm-hmm.
in a new art style that's like a premium art style, but it also makes those cards legal again. I think it would be. I personally think it would get a really well done reception.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely agree. All right. Well, thank you so much, Mo, for this conversation. This has been great. I found it very insightful, both on a sales content creator level, but on unlimited player, both playing the game and the collecting aspect. And where can people find you if they want to watch more really awesome Star Wars Unlimited content?
So you can find me at my YouTube channel at MoTheMonster. It's a picture of a raccoon. Don't ask why. It's a long story. And then if you also want to hang out in like a fun community where we're not taking ourselves all that seriously, but we do try to make good decks, you can come join my Discord. The link is on my YouTube channel. If you just go to like the extras, that's where you can find me. Star Wars Unlimited content.
Awesome thing. And I'd highly recommend the Discord. It's a really cool hangout place, especially if you're a new player. I would highly recommend it. Over to you, Mo. You can take us out if you'd like to.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Cast of the Whills. Episodes drop weekly, so follow wherever you're listening from and become a guardian of the Whills. Find us on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, and may the podcast be with you. Bye.
Bye.